of I&B takes stand against vulgar content. Fight against vulgar content gets government nod. Time for stricter laws for OTT and social media. Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on The Debate. Arnab Goswami on The Debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, couple of points. Today, more than 700 million Indians watch OTT platforms. The total number of people who can access the internet has crossed 800 million. 80% of the internet users in India are accessing some kind of video streaming service. What do the people who want to run these, the platforms that provide the data want? They want to make money. They've invested in the money, they want to make the money. For them, it's a financial transaction. But what kind of content is being consumed? I'm not a prude, but ladies and gentlemen, if you see some of the web series that are on some of these OTT platforms, if you see the kind of content, if you see the extent of pornographic content that is available freely today, ladies and gentlemen, when you see things that make it look like this country has no cultural boundaries, no Lakshman Rekhas, no decency, no morality at all. And if you ask questions about it, you get this woke reply that everything is about freedom of choice, freedom of expression, everything is freedom of creative liberty. But what kind of creative stuff does Ekta Kapoor these days on her web series platform? And it's a question, Ekta Kapoor, to you directly. Ekta Kapoor runs something called Alt Balaji. I want to ask people like Ekta Kapoor, what kind of content do you run on Alt Balaji, Ekta Kapoor? I'm asking you, are you proud of it? And it's not just Alt Balaji. It is also the kind of content that is available on the foreign OTT platforms and any OTT platform. And there is no regulation. Why should there be no regulation? Is it because this sector needs to remain unregulated? And if there are no controls, no regulation, does anyone take responsibility of the kind of impact that this will have on our society and our culture? Do we need to become like the Canadians, like the Americans? Where is our Sanskriti? Is talking about our Sanskriti and our culture something that makes us medieval and backward in our thinking? No, ladies and gentlemen, it's a question of pride, which is why I felt very proud at what Ashwini Vaishnav, the Union Information and Broadcasting Minister, said today when he said that our cultural context in India is different. And platforms that are broadcasting or having users or consumers in India need to appreciate the cultural context in India. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that it is time to regulate and clean up social media. Networks like Republic follow the rules. We are proud to do so. Anyone who is doing any form of infotainment, entertainment, news broadcasting, video broadcasting, or content creation in India needs to follow some basic rules. Following basic rules is not censorship. Let's debate.
Disrupted by the opposition. But before the Speaker, Om Birla, adjourned the proceedings for the following day, there was one question taken up during the question hour on the need to moderate vulgar content on social media platform.
OTT प्लेटफॉर्म्स पर जो दिखाया जा रहा है बहुत अश्लील है, परिवार में साथ बैठकर देख नहीं सकते, इससे हमारे नैतिक मूल्यों का ह्रास हुआ है। क्या सूचना प्रसारण मंत्री ये बताने की कृपा करेंगे कि सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स के माध्यम से अश्लील और सेक्स संबंधी सामग्री के अवैध रूप से प्रचारण को रोकने के लिए वर्तमान में मौजूदा तंत्र क्या है?
Replying to the query raised by the MP from Meerut, Union Information and Broadcasting Minister concurred that there indeed exists a gap in Indian law which needs to be strengthened for effective moderation of OTT and social media platforms.
इस प्रकार से एडिटोरियल कंटेंट होता था, एडिटोरियल चेक होता था, कोई भी चीज़ छप रही है वो सही है गलत है उसके बारे में पूरा एक निर्णय लेके मीडिया के अंदर लाया जाता था। वो एडिटोरियल चेक आज ख़त्म हो गया है। उस एडिटोरियल चेक के ख़त्म होने के कारण आज सोशल मीडिया एक तरफ से फ्रीडम ऑफ प्रेस का एक बहुत बड़ा माध्यम है, लेकिन साथ ही साथ दूसरी तरफ एक अनकंट्रोल्ड एक्सप्रेशन जिसमें कई तरह के वल्गर कंटेंट वगैरह भी आते हैं। अभी जो एग्जिस्टिंग कानून है माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, उसको निश्चित तौर पे और कड़ा करने की ज़रूरत है और मैं निवेदन करूँगा इसके ऊपर एक कंसेंसस बने।
After underscoring the lack of editorial moderation on social media, the Union Minister further added the importance of laws that are culturally relevant to India vis-a-vis moderation on social media platforms.
जिन कंट्रीज से सोशल मीडिया के ये प्लेटफॉर्म्स निकले हैं वहाँ की सेंसिटिविटी और अपने देश की सेंसिटिविटी में बहुत बड़ा फ़र्क है और ये इस तरह का डिबेट आज दुनिया के करीब करीब हर देश में, इसीलिए मेरा निवेदन है माननीय अध्यक्ष जी कि जो अपनी पार्लियामेंट की स्टैंडिंग कमेटी है वो भी इस विषय को उठाए और इस विषय पे समाज में कंसेंसस हो और उसमें और कड़े कानून बने।
Ashwini Vaishnav's remarks in the Lok Sabha has once again triggered the debate around threat of vulgar content online and its impact on children. With the government now actively seeking consensus for new reforms, is India ready for stricter content moderation laws against vulgar content online?
To start with, this is not a prude versus non-prude debate. This is not a forward versus backward debate. This is not a modern and progressive versus old, antiquated and out-of-date debate. This is a debate about decency. This is a debate about pornography. And this is not a debate about censorship. Because you should see the kind of stuff that is being produced by Alt Balaji. I'm naming Alt Balaji. I'm saying Alt Balaji, run by Ekta Kapoor. What kind of creativity is that? Simi Chandoke, Vikrant Shandilya, senior journalist Pankaj Sharma, and Ravira Bhardwaj. She's worked on various projects such as Jiyu Kaise, Golmol, Akhri Had and all that. And what is going on with the OTT platforms? Have they gone mad? Do they think that till the censorship comes in, they can do what they want to rake it in? Or are they doing it for valuation? Are they doing it saying, let's show the subscribers anyway? Doesn't matter what we are producing, show the subscribers, get the valuation, get out, make the money. Ladies and gentlemen, on the other side tonight is a very senior person called Kanchan Gupta. He's senior advisor in the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. And there's another very senior journalist called Udhay Mahurkar. He runs this group called Save Culture, Save Bharat, and he's been fighting like never before against perverted content. And members of his group gave the information to Arun Govil, who then raised the issue in Parliament. Viewers, I'm sure you watch OTT platforms some way or the other. This is therefore a debate that concerns you. Who'd like to open the debate tonight? Maybe I'd give the floor to Kanchan Gupta, then I'll open the debate. It's free-flowing debate, ladies and gentlemen. I might open the phone lines as well. Kanchanda, why is this debate important? And why did the minister say that we have a culture in India which needs to be respected as well? He made it a debate about our cultural context.
Arnab, just to put everything into context, quick 3 points. One, what the minister said was, we need a stronger governance architecture for OTT. We need a consensus across the political spectrum. And 3, that it should also involve participation by the Standing Committee of Parliament. Now, the problem is that we already have overall architecture, which is the IT Act of 2000. That act has become slightly antiquated, and I understand MeitY is working on a new version of the act, which should come forward in the next few months. Second, there is a sub-governance architecture which is called the IT Rules of 2021, and those draw from the IT Act. Now, the purpose behind the IT rules was not to make it punitive, but to make it a self-governing structure where content creators, content publishers, and intermediaries would themselves exercise control, exercise checks and balances to ensure that content was not against the sovereign laws of India. When I say against the sovereign laws of India, there are laws beyond the IT rules and IT Act, which deal with things like nudity, pornography, pedophilia, violence, and violence of various nature. Those laws have to be taken into account, and content has to be in compliance with those laws. The problem was that although it was a self-governing architecture, the self-governance never happened. And the minister also mentions that as recently as March 2024, some 18 OTT platforms had to be taken down under the IT Act. They were taken down because their content was in gross violation of laws and rules. The other point which we need to keep in mind is that there's a lot of hypocrisy around this. Everybody says that he or she is concerned about the quality of content and how it is unsuitable for young adults, for children, etc. But when it comes to bringing in a governance architecture, there's a lot of protest. As you would know, the IT rules were contested in Bombay High Court, and the Bombay High Court has ruled that the controls will not apply. And ironically, the Supreme Court has time and again called on the government to bring in measures to control, to have some sort of a governance architecture that would control content on OTT platforms. And the last point is that somewhere we also now need to be tough on the platforms. The big tech platforms which we have, which host OTT content, they have given a safe haven clause that they will be treated as intermediaries so long as they fulfill certain criteria. And one of the criteria is that they shall monitor the content which is being hosted on the platform. And if they find that it is in violation of laws and rules, they will take it down. And that, I'm sorry to say, is not happening, because what you said is that there's a lot of money to be made out of it.
Yeah, it's a lot of money to be made out of it, but no social responsibility. And the moment you ask a question, oh, they will jump saying, oh my God, oh my God, we are creative people, you see, we are in Bollywood, we are creative people, we need to do creative things. And you people are stopping us from enforcing our creativity, then they'll go running to Rahul Gandhi saying, please protect us. The fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, some realities are there. There was a study in 2020 which alleged that Instagram's algorithm is more likely, and I'm reading from a Business Insider piece, more likely to place topless pictures higher in users' news feeds than other photos. Posts that contained semi-naked women were 54% more likely to appear in the volunteers' news feeds than other photos, which means your algorithm is such which encourages pornographic content. Now, we have got to put some controls or not. Simi, Vikrant, please do step in. I mean, or should this continue to be an unregulated sector? Simi.
No, I think we should be absolutely, have it all figured out, and everybody talks in turns, and we don't overlap with each other and contradict each other. We put our views. All of us gets a chance. Now, my first, I take offense to the fact that the Honorable Minister, Mr. Vaishnav, has compared this sleazy OTT content and the vulgarity on social media. He has compared this to the freedom of the press. I take absolute objection to that. We are journalists. The freedom of press doesn't apply to those dirty, X-rated porn kind of sites. We are the fourth pillar of democracy. He has insulted every journalist worth his salt by comparing us to that smug, to that dirt that they put in their OTTs. He should not have compared journalism to that and freedom of speech to that. That's my first problem.
Yeah, but,
and
yeah,
like Mr. Udhay was saying, it's not been an easy ride for him. He tried to file FIRs, right? There have been people, they had so much difficulty trying to file an FIR against this. There is a lot of money involved, thousands of crores in all these OTT platforms. Nobody's going to listen to us if we go and say, file an FIR, this is vulgar.
But you see, according to algorithms and recommendations, this kind of stuff goes into the feed that children consume. In fact, there were...
I will tell you...
Am I wrong here? Children will end up consuming this kind of content. And
I can answer that question for Mr. Vaishnava. He says that all this content, hamari culture ko, hamari sanskriti ko kharab kar diya. Okay? Now today, his name has become from rare to real only. So where, I mean, is it just about vulgarity? Or is it also about sensationalism? Is it also about getting fact checks? Or you putting up wrong facts?
Arnab, he was very clear. He was talking about vulgarity today.
I think the point being made here is one minute.
Arnab, can I just come in? I think
One minute. I wish to come in for a point. Kanchanda, 1 minute. I would like to say that I do believe that Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav, the Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting, was speaking in the context of OTT vulgarity. Primarily, am I right or wrong? 1 minute. Well, let Kanchan Gupta clarify this.
Let me put the
let Kanchan Gupta, because he's coming from the ministry. Yeah.
Let me put the record straight. I think the minister is being misquoted, which is wrong, and which is an example of how freedom is misused. What the minister said is that in mainstream media there are editorial checks and balances, and content is filtered through editorial checks. On the other hand, on social media, those checks do not exist. And while on the one hand, greater freedom is exercised, on the other hand, there is abuse which happens. So where is the comparison between the two? No, I'm sorry, you do not understand simple English.
When he spoke about...
No, I have got the minister's reply with me.
He spoke about that in the past tense. He said there is no such checking.
No. Simi, may I come in here, please? Because may I come in here? We have 1 minute. I lest this be misunderstood. I'm not here to hold a brief for the minister, but as you will all appreciate, there was a fair amount of din when the minister was making his statement. However, I am aware of the position taken by the ministry, and I can tell you this, Simi. We are all concerned. Are we not concerned? Should I open the lines? Producers say I open the lines tonight. We are all concerned. And I want to say this to you. I'm not a prude. But the fact is tonight, are we going to accept or not that a majority of the content that Indians are consuming through these data platforms is pornography or semi-pornography? Are we going to say that this does not have an influence? Recently, I heard a story. Let me tell you this. It's a terrible thing to say on a primetime program, but I will say it. That I think 3 or 4 days back, there was a case, Simi. And I want all these people who run these big companies, who are all hitting the market, billion-dollar valuations and all that, the telco companies specifically, I want to prick their conscience. Because 3 days back, there was a news report, Udhay Dada, that there's a 10-year-old boy who raped his 7-year-old sister after watching pornographic content. And the parents the parents, right, and the older sisters helped try and conceal the act of rape and murder by a 10-year-old child who was consuming pornographic content. Now, we don't want to talk about this. We don't want to talk about this. The telco companies don't want to talk about this. Those who are doing data hitting the markets don't want to talk about this, because everyone just wants to make lots of moolah. They want to make lots of money, and Arnab Goswami talking about this is a bad thing, but it's a true thing. A huge amount of pornographic content is being consumed by children, by impressionable people, and crimes are being committed across the country. And I think we need to wake up to this reality before it hits home. Udhay Dada is on the debate. Udhay Mahurkar.
Let me. In the last 3 months, there are 7 cases, reported cases of brother raping his sister after seeing pornography. There are 2 cases of father raping daughter after seeing
Open the lines.
content. And there is one most unbelievable case of a man getting drunk, seeing pornography and raping his own mother. So the situation is very serious. But I must say one thing. I thank the minister today for really coming out very openly and very strongly in favor of control over such content. But the steps taken so far by the government are quite half-hearted. I filed an FIR against Netflix, against Alt, against X for showing pornography, and those FIRs have been, those complaints have been rejected. FIRs have not been filed, and they did not even report to me. I had to find out through an RTI application. My man did it application, then he found out.
You have to struggle to file an FIR. The authorities are not with us to censorship.
And today, my point is, if Ekta Kapoor is being lauded for a film called Savarmati Report, she should also be punished for producing the most horrendous kind of content. There is a film of Ekta Kapoor where a man is having sexual relations with his grandmother, with his stepmother, with his cousin sister, and with his bhabhi. There is another where we should be focusing on.
Okay. Udhay Mahurkar, you don't need to go into detail. 1 minute. Udhay Mahurkar, you don't need to go into detail. The fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, a 13-year-old brother rapes and kills his 9-year-old sister after watching a pornographic movie on the phone. Today in Australia, they have introduced a landmark bill to ban children under 16 from social media. The country plans to trial an age verification system that may include biometrics or government identification to enforce a social media age cutoff. We have no controls in India. Problem is, we believe having no controls is great. I say tonight, if you want creativity in this country, stop this semi-pornographic content from becoming the basis and core of content creation in our country. This is the cheapest content. It is the most exploitative content. There should be a ban from anyone. I request all the producers in Bollywood to enforce bans on anyone who lives off this kind of content. This is not creativity. It is porn. And I'd like Ravira Bhardwaj to come into the debate, and Vikrant Shandilya has been wanting to come in. Vikrant, the situation is serious. The government is going to step in.
OTT platforms, there is a section and it's the parents.
One. Who goes first? Vikrant is speaking first. Vikrant. Lines are open, ladies and gentlemen. Lines are open.
Arnab, I want to make a point that we should be bothered about who should be watching this content. Pornography is not meant for a 13-year-old. We should be very much bothered about it. But besides that, aren't we aware that Section 67 already deals with obscenity and vulgarity of IT Act? And also, besides that, vulgarity, actually pornography has to be dealt with differently. But over here, the minister is also referring to the vulgarity. Vulgarity is actually a very subjective term. And if at all we have laws, we make laws strict enough to deal with vulgarity, it will definitely give more power to the governments to muzzle up the media.
What muzzle? Muzzle whom? Muzzle whom?
Wasn't media at large actually, because
What media at large?
Even,
Why media at large? Mention who you're.
Arnab is for instance, OTT platforms.
No. 1 minute. I refuse to. 1 minute. I refuse to be put in the same bracket. I'm sorry. You can't put media at large. I'm sorry. No. 1 minute. With media, you put news media, serious media, along with Alt Balaji. Would you think I will allow Alt Balaji to write off journalism? How can we do that?
No, that's not my point. I'm saying that it should not be left
to that vulgar content. I started the debate with that. I said I take offense that they are.
Yeah. What is this window, please? Thank you, producers. Can I just go back to the windows? The debate is on, ladies and gentlemen. Sharath, please hold back. Ravina is on the debate. Ravina, it's serious. I think that to blame the viewers will not happen. What is the social responsibility of actors?
See, I feel one thing. People are not seeing the fact that there's an entire section called children on OTT platforms. It's the parents' duty to see to that children go to the children's section. And OTT does not mean pornography. There are n number of content that is not related to any such vulgarity. So you are directly linking.
No, I welcome that. I welcome that, but I welcome that, but I welcome that, but 1 minute.
And let's talk about freedom of expression, right? It's our choice, right? As a person to post whatever we want on social media. So the person should be sensible enough to post what they want to and what not. It's an individual's choice. If I want to post a photo today, it's my choice what I want to post, right? And if I'm posting the wrong stuff, that's my problem. My parents should see to it. And I think that is how we should be regulating social media. We are a democratic country. You can't stop people from doing stuff. And OTT is not just pornography. Pornography is pornography.
Not possible.
It has its own.
So tomorrow, will you
well.
let your children go onto those gambling sites and invest money there and become
which people don't see?
Completely addicted?
Simi, Ravina, Simi is saying something to you. Yeah.
I mean, okay, it's the parents' job to do that. The parents are working. Whatever it is, how do you stop those children playing rummy and gambling and betting and putting money that they probably start stealing from their parents after a few months and doing all that? How can you put that on the parents and dump the blame on the parents? The Australians, listen to me, I will interrupt you for a second here. What Arnab said
1 minute, don't speak over each other.
Please, Ravina, I will just finish in 2 seconds. What Arnab said about the Australian government, they met with a lot of resistance from the opposition. It has taken them months and they're 1 inch away from passing this law that people under 16 cannot have access to any social media. We need that. We do not want sensational and, sunssunny kind of dialogues in the parliament and the Sansad. We want real solutions, constructive solutions. And how much are you going to control your children when you're at work or whatever? Today, in some remote village in India, the smallest remote village, you can get pornography on your mobile for 5 rupees. 5 rupees. We need stricter action than just taking on the OTT. Let's face it, it's an epidemic, this whole pornography rubbish, and everybody who's indulging it and encouraging it through OTTs needs to be held responsible. But
if we can't take care of our own children, why do you expect a bill will take care of the entire country? If we can't take care of our own children, then how does a restriction take care of the entire country? It all starts from within your own house. You need to have restrictions with the children. You can't tell Bollywood not to do this, not to do that. You can't tell the world to stop the crime, right?
You should homeschool them.
You have to be careful about it.
The parents should homeschool their children also. Don't trust the schools also. Even their children have got things. Even their responsibility to see. Don't send them to school. Don't send them to school. Make them sit at home and you do home studying for them. Homeschooling karo. Internet ban karo. सब कुछ तुम ban करो. माँ बाप स्कूल में नहीं भेजेंगे. यहीं पे उनको बिठा के रखो.
Is going wrong.
If you are passing a bill and you're expecting people to
Somebody just said that it is your choice as to what you can post over there. Sorry, it is not your choice. Sorry, 1 second please, whoever is talking. It is not your choice to post whatever you wish to. The government of India makes it very clear through the constitutional provision. There is nothing called absolute free speech. Your speech is protected, but it is subject to controls, checks and controls. So to say that it is my right and my choice to post whatever I wish over there is totally wrong, and I am sorry, you are absolutely unaware of the laws of the land, and that is where the problem begins. You have no idea of existing rules, and that is why rubbish goes on as content.
The problem is we don't want to talk about it. You know, in our country, we don't want to talk about what will impact us the most. This will impact people the most because India is one of the largest consumers of pornographic and semi-pornographic content. You will be shocked. Why don't you go and find out how much of the data which is being used? We all talk about how much Indians use data as if we are all using data to build rockets. We are not. Let me tell you, most of the data which is being used, a lot of the data being used is being used for pornography and semi-pornography. Cheap use of data to consume pornography is a business model in our country. But we don't want to talk about it. And I'm sure the telcos don't want to talk about it because if the telcos talk about it, their whole business will go down by 30 to 40%. This is such an important debate on Republic. Therefore, I can tell you there will be strong lobbies against Ashwini Vaishnav and the government trying to put curbs. You put curbs. Let me tell you, Udhay Mahurkar, you are saying you're not being able to file FIRs. It's not many hundreds of crores. Thousands of crores, tens of thousands of crores will be blocked in financial transactions if there are curbs on the consumption of pornography and semi-pornography. Knowingly, producers are producing this pornographic content because it is high return on investment content. All you do, Pankaj, is that you exploit exploitable faces in Bollywood. An industry, the Hindi film industry, which has had the casting couch for the longest time, where there are one person who gets a film, thousands who don't. Talent is exploited, women are exploited, children are exploited. Children are exploited.
Sunny Leone.
This
Bollywood.
No, I'm not about Sunny Leone. The question is more serious than that. Here is a huge industry, and
legitimizing Sunny Leone.
No,
then you are encouraging pornographic content.
Well,
it's simple.
I don't know about that, but I'd like to get in Pankaj Sharma into the debate right now on whether the existing regulations on OTT are enough or not enough. And viewers, for the many people holding the lines, I'll be opening lines in exactly 1 minute. Pankaj Sharma, please.
See, I was listening to Kanchan ji and all others very carefully. And let me tell you that I am in favor of some kind of regulations for social media platforms. But there are two things. OTT is one dimension, and other social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter is something different. See, I served as one of the 25 members of the censor board from 2009 to 2015, Central Board of Film Certification. And I can tell you that when it is so difficult in working in a regulated domain, what it could be in an unregulated domain like OTT. OTT certainly needs some kind of very, very strict rules and regulations. But then if any government wants to implement these rules and regulations to control other social media platforms which are shaping the public discourse, that has to be seen.
No, separate the two.
I mean,
separate where
idea that we should
separate the two issues here, Pankaj. Separate the use of pornography as a business model from the ongoing journalistic debate of freedom of expression. I agree with Simi. You can't equate the two. What is happening is, Pankaj, the people who produce cheap, unregulated pornographic or semi-pornographic content are trying to jump or lean on journalism to make an argument for themselves. Is Ekta Kapoor a journalist? Is Ekta Kapoor running a media
It should
news
not be
media
allowed.
organization,
You
a
can't
news channel?
You can't compare all Balaji with other serious media. So they should not be allowed.
Don't link the
OTT,
two,
of
no,
course,
Pankaj.
It's a very, it's a nuisance.
Let's not link the two. It's not a freedom of expression debate. It's a pornography or semi-pornography debate.
No,
Arnab, before you take on the caller, can I just make one point?
freedom of
problem here is
expression
we are
for other
talking about
social media
X-rated adult
platforms
porn
like
there's
other
also
social
something
media
called
platforms
fact-checking.
means Facebook,
Now,
Twitter
Mr.
and all,
Vaishnav,
which are contributing in
himself
shaping the public
is quite
discourse.
under the
It's a
tongue.
different thing.
Yesterday,
OTT,
he,
of course, is a very
posted
different
a
thing. That
video
has a different
of his employee in
commercial
a train
angle.
giving CPR to a man who is absolutely lying down and conscious. Twitter, that is X, they flagged his post and they said, you are not supposed to give CPR to a human being who is conscious. So he knocked off that tweet. Before this, when that accident happened with the Kanchan Gupta, 15 people died, 60 people were injured. What does he do? He comes on a cycle and he's asking his people to make a reel. Third, when he wanted to show the progress of Vande Bharat, we were all very proud about that train, okay? Because of Modi ji. What does this person do? He goes there on Twitter and he posts a picture of a train in Peru. And then when he's busted for it, on factual checking errors, factual check and factual errors from Twitter, from those websites or those social media places, he goes and deletes the video. So my problem is that these kind of suggestions that are coming from a man who himself he needs round-the-clock supervision.
Okay, Amit is calling from Delhi. Our first caller, Amit.
Hello.
Yeah, Amit, go on, please. Amit, go on. You're live now. What do you think? Amit, I can hear you. Go on. I can't hear Kanchan. Amit, please.
तो मेरा सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है अगेंस्ट जो ये सेंसरशिप के बारे में बता रहे हैं कि जिस यूएस को
बोलिए अमित जी. I think I've lost the line.
मानते हैं वहां पे डाटा इंडिया से आई थिंक 10 टाइम्स ज्यादा है
जी.
उसका रीजन ये है कि वहां पे पोर्नोग्राफी को कम किया जाए और इन ओटीटी को बैन करा जाए.
You're correct, अमित जी. इधर डेटा इज वेरी चीप और इसलिए ये पोर्नोग्राफिक कंटेंट एक बहुत बड़ी मल्टी 10,000 करोड़ इंडस्ट्री बन चुकी है. रवि इज कॉलिंग फ्रॉम दिल्ली. Ravi, please, let's get a sense of the popular mood on this subject. Ravi.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Arnab. How are you?
Very well. What do you think about this? Time to regulate or not?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing, sir, that long time back, there was a movie which came, Bandit Queen, in 1994, 30 years back. It's the same movie when it comes to OTT, right? Then what happens? And if we say this kind of a movies, if we say that the small children were like watching this kind of pornography in India, this is on a very high side if you compare across the world. Because the thing is that we one side in our schools we are teaching the sex. And second, this thing we are just showing this kind of things at pornography, which is like the OTT channel. But the film producers are there, which they have already made the movies like a Bandit Queen, which comes OTT table, and we already seen that kind of movie, which is like first movie where we have seen the complete naked woman, right?
Yeah. So the point here is first of all. As you're very well aware, Ravi, pornography is not sex education. Question here is there a need for checks, controls to stop crime? Let's make this an issue about crime. And I'd like to get in Rajnikant from Bengaluru before I open up the debate. But there is an ongoing debate on this. Yes, Rajnikant. Rajnikant, can't hear you. Are you there?
I can hear you, yes.
Yeah. What's your take?
The take is...
Louder, louder, louder.
Take a serious action.
Can't hear you, Rajnikant. Yes?
Arnab, good evening.
Good evening. Go on.
Arnab, the thing is, has to take a serious thought.
Can't hear you, Rajnikant. I'll go to Anuradha from Chennai. Anuradha.
Yes, sir. Hello.
I can hear you, Anuradha. Louder, please.
Yeah. Actually, I'm from Chennai. I'm a mother of 2 children, 2 teenagers. What my point is, we definitely need a government intervention for stricter rules about social media consumption, because even though one of the panelists pointed out that as parents should have a check on their children, how much check do you expect when there is something popping out when the child is going under seeing some education related thing? How much this thing do you expect from parents to control when everything comes at a very low cost internet?
Absolutely.
So, who is there to control the private players here? So we definitely need government to intervene and have stricter laws, because a society without laws is barbaric.
See, I'll tell you, Anuradha, what's happening here. Low cost internet, okay? Low cost production for these people who make this kind of content, serial makers, etc., right? Low cost talent here, because you're not talking about people who you have to pay tens of lakhs or crores. You have to pay people a few thousands to act in these films, right? So low cost production, a lot of money to be made, and foreign investment into these OTT platforms, which is also beginning to come in, because everyone wants to invest in the Indian media sector. What a shame. I'd like to get in Ashwin from Mumbai. Ashwin.
Yeah. Now, I have a very simple question to Ravina, that instead of hundreds
Can you speak closer to the phone and a bit louder? And the question is to Ravina, so can producers put Ravina in a big window so she can hear and answer? Thank you so much. Ashwin, go on.
I want to ask her only one question. That instead of hundreds of parents taking care of their children, why can't they stop this nonsense?
Can't hear you, Ashwin. Can't hear you, Ashwin. I'm sorry, we got the window right there, but I couldn't hear him. Could you hear him, Ravina? No. But you are hearing the...
No.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the windows. Hemangini is calling from Nagpur. Hemangini, what do you think?
Yes, I think there should be no 2 opinions. There should be only one opinion, and uniform opinion, that this should be stopped. This is a very sensitive issue, and it is for the citizens. Small children are involved in it, so there should be no 2 opinions, and immediately it should be stopped.
What do you think is the responsibility of these big companies who provide data, the phone companies, the telecom companies?
No, that is a problem of government, but culture is more important. That is first in this. That comes first, priority.
Absolutely, Hemangini. Absolutely.
Yes. That money and all, that they should find somewhere else or do something for that. But this is very, very bad. Very bad. I've heard about those cases, those children, small child raping, that is not, it's very bad. I felt very bad.
Yes, Hemangini, totally. Vishal from Bengaluru, look at the number of calls who are going on. It seems to me, Kanchan da, that this is a debate that is waiting to happen. I'm telling you, parents across India are calling in tonight.
I would like to give a short reply to Ms. Hemangini, who just spoke. She says that we cannot have 2 opinions. Now, that does not happen in a country like India. Everybody has a right to their opinion. While we need very stringent censorship for children under 16, and whoever is caught going against those laws, they need to be put behind bars for years and years. But the adults have a right to make their choice on what they want to watch. Okay. There is something called parental control, which I agree with Ravina.
Yeah, Vikrant.
At the same time,
I would
others
like
cannot
to
be
add
punished.
what
If
Simi
you
is
cannot
saying.
do this, they cannot be punished.
Vikrant is saying, Vikrant's audio, please. Thank you, Vikrant.
Not by minors alone.
Yeah.
Uday
So,
Dada,
Arnab, my point is that, while I completely agree with you that we cannot equate news media with pornography, at the same time, I would like to say that we cannot equate pornography with obscenity as well. We come from the land of Chirkin, who was celebrating.
Oh God, don't give me that argument, please, yaar. You're no, you will not. I won't allow you to do that. You are trying to bring down Indian civilization down to a justification of pornography. I think bad try. Don't try it on me. No. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. No. Please don't do that. It won't be acceptable.
What is the challenge, Arnab?
Arnab, can I just comment for a
Challenge
second?
is that after COVID, people, the children are using phone for education. They might not be legally eligible to get the phones, but parents give them phones. And Haryana government recently did a survey. They have given tablets to school students for study purpose, and after some time they found that the children had broken all the filters and they were seeing pornography.
Vishal from Bangalore, I'll take one more caller. Vishal, one caller. Vishal.
Hi, Arnab. Okay, so I was listening to this. Being a father of two kids, right? I feel that there has to be definitely some sort of checks and balances, because I heard one of the panelists saying it is responsibility of the parents. But though I agree with her, with all due respect, at home me and my wife tries our best to do that. However, we don't have any control when they go out, even to our neighbor place, right? My son goes and watches movie there, while we ban them from watching TV at home, right? So somewhere I feel, especially with all this digitization, with access to internet, right, there has to be some sort of censorship. Otherwise, it won't be practically possible for the parents alone to do that, right? And especially the children in this generation, they get influenced very fast. So
I'm with you on that, and I think I'm overshooting my time limit. There are so many calls. I'm told there are about 53 calls waiting live right now. I can't take the calls, unfortunately. I have to take a break. But I have a feeling tonight, Kanchan Da and Udhay Mahurkar, that it's a bit of a tsunami in terms of the reactions. There are more calls on tonight than there have been on the day of the Maharashtra election results. That means somewhere every single family in this country feels strongly about this.
Absolutely.
And it's an issue about...
concerned, there is no voice. Arnab, you are doing a great job for the nation, because this ecosystem has also media under its influence. You are one of the few persons in the national media who is able to take it up.
So I'll take this forward. I am to extend the debate on content and the nature of content, explicit content. I will be sending a letter of invitation to Ekta Kapoor of Alt Balaji to come on my program, because she got to answer some questions. Alt Balaji, I am not targeting you. Alt Balaji and Ekta Kapoor need to answer about the kind of content they make. Similarly, Netflix needs to. Amazon needs to. I'm not targeting anyone, but we'll start with Alt Balaji, and I hope that Ekta Kapoor will not duck or dodge my invitation, which is going out shortly. We've had an unbelievable legal debate between Arreman Sundaram and Mahesh Jetpalani on the Adani issue. There was such a feedback to it. In case you missed it, which I hope you didn't, but in case you want to watch it again, in case you missed it, right after the break tonight, two of the topmost Supreme Court lawyers in the country, Mahesh Jetpalani and Arreman Sundaram, in a complete bout, a fight on the Adani issue. Unmissable. That one is coming up.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university in the recently released Education World Rankings. A testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked standards in education.
Thank you.